I recently finished the manga The Flowers of Evil, and it was essentially the last big work that I had left from the author Shuzo Oshimi. The last one I had read was Inside Mari, and it actually became one of my favorite manga ever. So when I came to this, I already knew what to expect from the author. Or at least that's what I thought. We'd start out with a story that feels very mundane and honestly very slice of life. Then things would start to go really wrong, and the actual core of the story would begin there, right? In a way, this isn't really wrong. We start out with our protagonist Kasuga, which is your average shy boy that loves literature. He also has a crush on his classmate Saiki, but he doesn't have the courage to confess. I don't want to spoil too much of the story in this video, please go read it, but a small spoiler warning right here. On an impulse, Kasuga steals Saiki's gym uniform to, Problem is, Nakamura, another one of his classmates, catches Kasuga and actually blackmails him into doing whatever she wants. Otherwise, she will tell Saiki about his doings. That's the initial premise of the story. You got a horny shy boy, Nakamura, which is the weirdo, and Saiki, which is the class perfect girl. From the get-go, we realize that Nakamura is not really the best person ever. Even after seeing Kasuga being a pervert, Nakamura says that all she wants to do is peel off every layer off of Kasuga. She wants to see his darkest impulses. They essentially enter this very masochistic and vile relationship where Nakamura is watching every single step that Kasuga takes. Now, once again, this is a psychological manga. It goes in the lines of like Oyasumi Pum Pum, even Monster a bit. So from here on out, I won't talk about the story itself. I just want to talk about its themes, because man, do they stuck with you. I finished reading this manga last night, and I would say the main theme of this manga is suffocation. Nakamura as a person feels extremely suffocated by everyone around her. She can't help herself but badmouth everyone that she knows. Her teachers, her classmates, even her own family at a certain point. This is the type of story that shows you very disturbing topics, but this author, Shuzo Oshimi, he manages to take very deep and pretty dark thoughts, but he manages to make it relatable. Because even though you want to punch every single character in this story, you still can't help but find some common ground between them and you. It's a bit unrealistic that all of the characters in this story start out as middle schoolers, but even still, I think it's pretty interesting that Oshimi touches topics like obsession, impulsion, perversion, but it feels really natural almost. And that actually reflects into his own art, because the manga starts with a very clean and soft art style, but whenever something big happens, it changes to these very strong and almost unhumane facial expressions that he manages to draw, and it's so beautiful. But what made me really love this manga was that it really shows how much one disturbed person can make things even worse for another disturbed person. Like I said earlier, you really want to punch every character. You can't really agree with any of the actions they take. But speaking as someone that has been dealing with mental disorders for as long as I've been alive, I can say that sometimes meeting the wrong person at the wrong time can make things a living hell. And that's the beauty of this manga. It's like, it's not for everyone. I don't think everyone can relate to everything, but if you do relate to the levels, to the layers of what the author is trying to portray, it takes on such a bigger level of your appreciation. Everything just kind of clicks depending on the person that you are. And I guess that's pretty much all I had to talk about. It's not really a manga review, though I do really recommend you to read it because it's awesome. But I would say that even if you're not someone like me, even if you're at a good mental place, let's say, it's still worth a read because it is a pretty solid psychological drama slash horror almost. Nah, not horror, but drama. And if you are someone like me that is dealing with the things I mentioned, read with caution because it can be a bit triggering, but if you manage to read it, you won't regret it. And that was my first video. I know it sucks, but I want to improve my speech skills, my editing skills. I will try to keep posting on this channel. I want to talk about manga, about books, about anime, anything I think is worth mentioning. If you're watching this, thank you for sticking around. You can leave a comment for any tips you might have. And that's it. Bye bye.